Welcome back to Let's Not Sugarcoat It. Season 3 is here and we're excited to dive into the core of communication, relationships, and leadership.
We're your hosts, Bella and Lee, a husband and wife duo with a successful business helping couples and organizations get it together to play a bigger game and elevate their relationships and performance.
We believe in keeping it real, so each week we'll bring you incredible guests, entrepreneurs sharing their authentic experiences, along with episodes featuring just the two of us tackling the tough topics.
So, if you're ready to enhance your connections and sharpen your leadership skills, you're in the right place. Let's get started.
Welcome back to another episode of Let's Not Sugarcoat It, where we dive into conversations that strengthen relationship, improve communication, and elevate the way we work, lead, and connect. Today, we're excited to welcome Dorota Ulkowska, my Polish friend. I know I got that one right.
You got that right, for sure.
Right, yeah. She is someone who brings clarity, confidence, and genuine care to a field that can feel overwhelming for many, technology. She's a director of client services at Accurate Network Services, a company known for combining innovation with a people-first approach. Dorota draws on years of leadership experience in the managed service world, helping organizations navigate everything from cybersecurity to AI adoption, without the stress or confusion that often comes with IT. What makes Dorota special is her ability to turn complex systems into approachable solutions, building trust through transparency, communication, and a deep understanding of what businesses actually need to thrive. So welcome to the show, Dorota.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so we are so excited to have you with us because, technology is so foreign to so many, yet we are surrounded by it day in, day out. Like, we cannot avoid technology. And I know as entrepreneurs and business owners ourselves, IT and just technology for me, prior to the show, we're having technical difficulties with, mics and headsets and all that kind of jazz. So tell us a little bit what it exactly that you do and how you work with clients to get them to understand in layman's term what technology can do for them.
Well, technology, as you said, is one of these things that is an underlining aspect of all of our lives. Whether you're a one-person or a two-person show, or whether you're an organization of 500 individuals, the way we work is all now very much dependent on technology. So what Accurate Networks does and what we do as an organization is we try to make people's lives easier by looking after the IT portion so that you can focus on what you're passionate about. And most individuals, unless they're in the IT sector, are not necessarily that passionate about IT. So what we try to do is to, first of all, understand what the organizations do, how they better the world, better their clients, what they do with regards to their day-to-day function, how IT supports that, and then we take on as much as we can to make that transition as easy and smooth. So again, you can do the things that you do best. And I know that sounds very generic, but it really varies from a place to place. I mean, we have organizations who are in construction. We have organizations who are in oil and gas, human resources. How they function and how they rely on IT will be very different. But the IT portion with regards to networking, backups, servers, your licenses, that's all the same. It's just how it is deployed and managed that will differ in the background.
Interesting. Do you do a fair amount of work with like new emerging technologies like, AI as an example?
We do. We actually have been focusing on AI quite heavily within our own organization. And what I can say to that is that there is still a lot of misunderstanding around how to use AI. There are two, I would say, sides that I have seen in this industry. One is caution, not wanting to rely on it too much, not giving up too much information. And another line is, oh my gosh, how can we utilize this and apply AI to all aspects of our business as quickly as possible? And I would say that both sides are extreme views, and the truth is somewhere in the middle.
Right.
So we ourselves, within our business, are cautiously experimenting so that we can become the consultants to our clients, how to apply this within your own business, within very readily available tools such as ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot. All of these tools are available to all of us, and there's a lot that we can do with them already.
What are, I guess, some of the challenges that you've seen, with technology becoming a replacement to that human connection? Because even before AI, I think there's a lot of people that prefer email or text message, like not even phone calls, never mind face-to-face as a form of communication, especially as a form of like avoiding difficult conversations sometimes as well. So what are some of those challenges that you've seen in organizations, things to watch out for? And as we make this transition to AI and companies using it to make things faster, because I think one of the concerns that a lot of people have, Bella and I talk about it quite a bit, is how do we maintain that human element where it already seems like it's lost, and now AI might make it even harder to maintain?
I will answer that question. However, I want to address it from a different direction, if you don't mind.
No, not at all.
This is a very, very, very common question. But the way I look at it, based on my, and I'll admit it, my experience is limited as well, right? Because I only have exposure with regards to my own clients and our own organization. But what I am seeing is that AI is a tool, just like you said, email is a tool. Computers are a tool. The internet is a tool. How we individually and how organizations choose to use it will define the answer to your question. So can AI be used as a tool to replace that human aspect? 100%. So can a lot of other tools that we have in place. So it is a question of the culture of an organization, the leadership of an organization, and how they want to apply those tools within their business. Mm-hmm. There's also huge potential to actually connect people more with AI, because you can actually use AI to clarify your thoughts, to clarify concepts, to generate. If you have a concept of an idea, AI can help you actually put thoughts and words around it and a plan around it, so that then you can apply it within your team. We are looking at it as an employee. Mm-hmm. We are looking at it as a coach, an employee, somebody that can feed us more information to make us individually more efficient, and to be able to communicate with each other more effectively. Can an organization take that tool and replace that human connection completely? 100%. But again, AI is a tool. It's not a threat to the human connection. Humanity is the threat to human connection and how we choose to use it.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that, because we do tend to live in a culture where everything is fast and now everything is being automated. Even your sales teams are automated. They're bots. You cannot get a live human on your first interaction with customer service. I have yet to call in, whether it's to TELUS, whether any store, you're interacting with a bot, and then once you can't solve the problem with the bot, that's when the human interface. So I feel like there's two aspects. Those day-to-day tasks that is a time saver for companies, for staff, but then you do still need that interaction. And a lot of people, I find, they don't want to interact with humans.
Mhm.
I personally hate texting. If it's turning into a conversation where it's going to be faster for me just to pick up the phone and just have a normal conversation, I will do that. But a lot of people are losing, I feel, that human connection. So I think it's up to us. It's our responsibility to keep that human connection going, human to human. And like you said, Dorota, it is up to us. We are our threat because we're choosing not to
Yeah.
interface on that human
And,
level.
and if you don't mind, let me give you a couple of very different examples. So I, within the last month, had an issue with my bank. And I called in, I got a human. Wonderful. This human didn't quite know, this individual didn't quite know how to approach the question that I had. And he kept putting me on hold. I was on hold for an hour with this individual coming back to me, asking some clarifying questions, going back. I was getting more and more frustrated. Finally, I asked to speak to the manager. The manager assisted me, but I was on the call for about an hour and 20 minutes. If a bot was used to clarify certain aspect of my issue and then to be directed to a human who could help me with that specific issue, everything could be resolved in a much quicker period of time. And I would still be speaking to a human being. And it would be a much better experience for the bank and for myself. The other example that I want to give you is at the other end of the spectrum, in my opinion. I have quite a bit of experience with regards to managing people, but I had one situation where one of my employees is happy, but they are having some questions around how to proceed in their career. And, I needed kind of to talk it out, to figure out how to approach this situation so I could coach this individual in the best way possible. And I did something I never did before. I opened up ChatGPT, and ChatGPT has a voice option where you can talk to it as a human. And I literally guided ChatGPT, whom I called George, by the way. I said, hey, George, I just want to tell you about my situation. I want you to listen to me. I want you to give me a very objective feedback because I want to be able to coach my employee in the best way possible for my employee. Ask me some clarifying questions to get as much information as you need in order to guide me. And then I just literally vented, just as if I would to a girlfriend, just blah, right? And George asked me a few questions back just to clarify, and then gave me incredible feedback as to what this employee might be going through, what they might need, and how to approach my conversation. It was incredibly helpful because the next day I met with an individual, and from that new understanding, I had that human connection for clarifying questions to get to the bottom of what that individual needed. It was really fantastic, and I couldn't have gotten that without hours and upon hours of research. And it saved me time, and it gave me awareness that I simply wouldn't have had otherwise.
Yeah, so I feel like we're also like replacing a coworker with that, who we would bounce ideas off of. We would come to, like, you and I work together, and I have a problem. And instead of coming to you and us talking it through that human connection, we ask chat as if it was because I feel like a lot of my friends are also replacing their psychologists or psychiatrists or whatnot, because they're just using ChatGPT to have their sessions. So I feel like there's a fine line, and it's amazing because it is learning from us and it's getting smarter as we're putting inputs, as we're using ChatGPT and all those other AI tools. It is absorbing information. I mean, I looked online, and it's funny because we talk about replacement of jobs, but then I went online just to kind of see the trend of what is happening in that AI space. There are jobs now being created to be bilingual inputters of information for ChatGPT. So you can get hired if you have a master's or a degree in economics, mathematics, and program and answer questions for chat as it's learning. So there is your job loss, job creation, ease of time. It's not bias per se. It will look at if you prompt it properly to get you answers. I mean, we use chat.
Yeah, I would say the bias exists in the prompt,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So again, it's the human element piece, right? Is that we have our own perspective of ourselves or the situation or the person. And in the case that you're using, Dorota, about, helping get some insight in how to coach, have this conversation with somebody, you have a bias about that person.
Yeah.
And that potentially could always come through in your own engineering of the prompt, right? Yeah.
And I mean,
But let me, sorry to interrupt, but let me push back a little bit. How does that differ from when you're speaking to a coworker or a girlfriend or a guy or a guy friend?
It does. Well,
It depends.
It depends.
It depends.
Yeah. I would say that you're correct on how does it differ. Where I think it differentiates, and I don't know, I've never attempted to use, we're talking specifically about ChatGPT, but any AI LLM for this, but somebody who has some decent understanding about human factors and biases and things like that could potentially point that out to you, right? So unless you're building something like that into a prompt or you're building an AI agent that you're specifically using for that purpose, and you're requesting it that through all your engagements that you're getting it to look for your own biases in your questions and stuff like that, I think you just run the risk of it catering to your bias, where there's a potential that with a human who's got those distinctions and things like that, that they could help you be aware of what those biases might be.
Yeah. So I would, and again, keep in mind, I have not been living and breathing AI on a daily basis because this is just not what I do. I use it as I need it. But I have multiple times asked AI to call me out on those biases.
That's good.
I have actually asked, look, I understand I have a bias. I have emotion around this. Ask me clarifying questions to eliminate the bias and give me an objective view based on what I'm describing to you. But then there are times when I say, I just want to vent. I need somebody to vent to and tell me I'm right. I need that too. And in the moment, my girlfriend is not available or my husband is not available, George is. So I think it is how we ask for that assistance, and it's our own self-awareness of what we're asking for. And I guess my question beforehand, how does that differ from a human, is we literally ask the same from a human being. I want you to be objective. I want you to truly call me out on things versus, listen, I just want to vent. I just need to get this off my chest. Let me go. So again, I can't state this enough. This is a tool. If we learn how to use it properly, it doesn't need to be a replacement for other human beings. It can be a tool that helps us connect further with others, but it is all up to each individual, because there will be people who don't want to have any human connection, and they will use this as a replacement.
Yeah, definitely. And I do feel like you said, to just hammer in that this is a tool, and we need these types of tools because the demand on us in the workspace is quite different than what it was like for my parents' generation, the generations before. We have way more on our plates now than our parents did. One income could do all of it. You had a wife that stayed at home, took care of the kids, the husband went and worked, and you had a middle class kind of life. With technology, industrialization, and all that kind of stuff, I feel like we're coming up with all these things to better our lives, yet we're working harder And I think AI, it's going to take that harder piece out and put in smarter, to buy back our time so that we can enjoy life, so we can move and do the things that really light us up in our industry. So
Yeah. I mean, it's very, curiosity for me is just, spiked on this conversation because, yes, it's a tool, right? So is text messaging, all the other messaging apps, so is email, a lot less sophisticated tools, yet still humans have really over relied on those methods of communicating, right? Where a lot of in-person type of communication has become a lot less. And we hear about it from clients.
Yeah.
And so it's a tool. How do we, I think a lot of training around AI is about how to use it, around building in workflows, prompt engineering, all of that type of stuff. I don't know if there's much out there that's really like training humans on how to leverage AI as a tool that doesn't become like, it doesn't remove that human connection from the way that we communicate. Because I mean, even now, even if you're still writing an email, it's like, oh, chat, write me this email, chat, write me this text, chat, before I go into this, difficult conversation, help me say these things. Well, then all of a sudden, if you're out on the street and somebody comes up to you and starts having a conversation with you, it's like, oh, hold on a sec. Let me just run this through my AI app on my phone because I'm too anxious having a conversation.
This is not my language. This is not how I speak on the. And you do run into those types of situations where the person isn't writing this. They're using the tool. At least put some effort, I say, to make it your own. I'm all for help me get the concepts in, help me organize it, but still you need to use the language you use on a daily day. I throw in my Ponglish all the time because I put things
I love that.
right? So it just is what it is. And if I had this eloquent, speech using words I never use on a podcast or on the reels or out in public, that it's not me talking. It might be you because you're like a chat GPT, your language and the use of sometimes I'm like, who are you talking to? Because what's this word? Language. Right.
Yeah.
But it is very important to put yourself into whatever work you're putting out there because people will know, right?
1,000%.
People will know.
I want to pose another question or thought into this. I used to, in a previous life, teach mindfulness to organizations, and I taught stress reduction, considering the world that we live in. And to your point, we're so busy, we're multitasking. How we work is just so different than even a generation ago. And I recall when I was doing training, I would talk about, thinking about our grandparents or even our parents, depending on how old we are, that somebody would go to an office, let's say, as they're driving to the office, they're maybe listening to the news on the radio. They don't know what's happening at work until they get to work.
Yeah.
Right. Then they're dealing with their meetings, talking on the telephone, typing things out. Then they're done work. They get in a car, they drive back, they go home, and it's done.
Yeah.
It's done. You're not continuously connected to it. So you had time to de-stress. You had time to focus on what really matters in your life, on the human connections. That is gone. That is completely gone for us. So now, is technology making that worse? I think we can all agree that it is because we can't get away from it.
Yeah.
But is AI the potential, and I'm not making a statement, I'm asking the question, is it the potential to bring back a little bit of that balance? Is AI going to be that assistant to the human way of thinking in all of our roles, or the majority of our roles, where we can put to the side for the time being some of our activity, or are we going to use that to make ourselves even busier?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I feel like in the utopian world, we're going to say this is going to give us time back, but then we were going to become so much more productive. There's going to be more work put onto our plate because now we know that we have AI and we can run multiple bots and other things that are 10x, 100xing the tasks. So we are walking, I feel, a fine line between buying back our time and using this to push work-life balance or harmony. But I do feel like it has never really slowed down. When you look at history, the more technology, the more innovation, the faster the world moves.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So
I think it's going to come down to like intentionality,
yeah.
right? Because generally speaking, most of us are moving through our day to day in a socialized, reactive mind, right? Meaning our attention is constantly drawn to whatever's happening out in our environment. Very, very few of us are actually very good at setting intentions, saying yes to things that are aligned with those intentions, regardless of what's happening out in the environment, regardless how urgent things are, right? You know, something's not important and urgent, we'll give up on the stuff that's important but not urgent because, hey, this stuff is needs my attention over here. And so this is just me saying that there will be some people, I think a small percentage, that will dictate how the bigger percentage of people are going to respond to AI, because there's a fewer amount of people that are being very intentional about how to use it, how to apply it in their life, in their business, all of it. Everyone else is using it as yes, a tool, but I mean, not from an intention standpoint. It's still like from a reactive standpoint, right? And using it very conversationally instead of, you know, how do I use AI to actually free up my time? Like you're using the term buy back my time. Like, how can I use this to free up my time? People are going to wait too long. And before you know it, somebody else is going to tell them your time is freed up.
Yeah.
Go home. Don't come back.
No. And
Time will
it
tell.
won't take us long.
No.
We're going to see in the next year or two, we're going to be seeing the effects of this.
Yes.
But that's
so
why I think it's such
we're
a
living
good thing to be talking about it. Right.
Yeah. So you often say technology should be approachable and practical. What does that look like in real everyday communication with clients who may feel overwhelmed by IT?
Oh my goodness, that is
I
a
know.
very, very big question. Very big question. And once again, I'm going to answer in a bit of a similar way, that it depends on the client, right? Most of our clients, the size of the clients that we work with, they don't necessarily have designated IT teams. And that's where we can come in and manage their entire environment. So our job is to make this as friendly and easy to use as possible. But most organizations don't understand. I shouldn't say most. Quite a few organizations don't understand the necessity of a secure network, or the necessity of what is the difference of having on-premise backups versus cloud backups, and different types of licenses. So we and my entire team tries to understand the client's business, and from the client's business perspective, speak day-to-day language to help them understand why those bits and pieces are required. So let's talk about, I know it's, for a lot of people, it's not overly exciting, but it actually is really fun if you're nerdy enough. So if we, for instance, look at backups, okay, a lot of people say, well, cloud, let's move it to the cloud. Why do I need to have a server on, taking space in my building, and it's expensive, and why would I do this? So when you understand how an organization works, if you are backing up all of your information, but you are using some of those files on a daily basis, and you're storing it in the cloud, and then you're pulling it back up to work on it, there's actually a fee that we pay every time we pull the documentation from the cloud and put it back up. So there is a different fee with regards to downloading or not downloading, but using the files versus just storing it and keeping there for, a few years. And your usage costs go up quite significantly. And so understanding how an organization works, how they use their files, how they communicate with one another, any decent managed services organization should be able to guide you what technology aligns with that line of thinking and working. And that is how we make it as easy to use and simplify it as much as possible. And most organizations then just, go with the flow, shall we say, because it again aligns with their way of working. Did I answer your question? I'm not quite sure if I did because it was such a big question.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think, as again, IT for us is a foreign language, although it's been around for years and years and years and years. It's still something for us. I'm like, okay, well, I have no idea how to program. I don't know what this is for. We're always relying on others to tell us what to do. And we do get overwhelmed.
Yes.
And then we put it on the back burner. And then we don't do the things we are supposed to be doing to, scaling our business, to helping the processes run along better and smoother, because the overwhelm is real, especially now adding that AI bit. There's so many things that you can purchase, and this does this for you, and this does this for you, and these systems and this systems, and before you know it, you're just like, holy man, I have 1,000 subscriptions and I have no freaking clue what I'm doing, what they're doing, how are they talking to each other, how they're communicating. So it is, you said, it's important to have somebody come in and package it for people like us to understand.
Help
or at
sense.
least guide. Or at least guide. Exactly. You might not be a size of an organization where you need continuous assistance, but at least get some advice, because you're right. It is a specialty. There are so many things happening every month, every single month. New things are happening. And in this industry, unless we're training on an ongoing basis, within a couple of months, we're already out of the loop. So how can the average business owner keep up with that kind of information? So just like you would go to a lawyer for certain advice about the law, same with IT. Go to the experts to at least get some guidance. I will give you one example, because we were talking about AI, and I find this to be quite interesting. About a year ago, in our industry, we were talking about Copilot as AI from Microsoft, which is the only AI that really works with Word and Excel and PowerPoint and so forth. So it's very, very useful in a business environment. And people have been jumping onto Copilot. Yes, let's do this within our organization. Secure information that it's learning, as Copilot is learning your secure information. It's not being shared with the rest of the world. However, what most of us a year ago were not aware of is, fine, but if you give Copilot to everybody within your organization, are you aware of the permission settings of your own internal documents within your organization? Have you now given a tool to everybody to access absolutely everything? And should they have the ability to do so? So, do you understand your own permission settings within your documentation? Are you internally secure, or did you just give the keys to all the information to all of your people within your organization? And we're all learning. Again, a year ago, this was not even talked about. Now it is talked about widely. So organizations like ours do assessments to review, are you ready for any form of AI? Or do you need to first look at your permission settings within your information that you have stored internally within SharePoint or any other format? So, but again, the average organization would not even think of that.
Yeah.
Until it's too late.
Yeah. Until
Yeah.
it's too late. Well, and I remember for myself when I first started thinking of like cloud, being able to store your documents and stuff like that, or photos, files. To me, it was always of like, oh, it's a safe place to store things, because if my computer crashes or goes missing or stolen, then I still have access to all my stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Where now with, you mentioned agentic AI, the speed of which cyber attacks and things can happen. Not that I'm overly concerned that anybody's going to pull a cyber attack on what we have in the cloud. Right. But
I don't know. There's some photo. No, scary.
but
Oh, really?
but what, like, I guess like when you're talking about from a cost perspective, what you should keep out in the cloud and maybe what you should keep local on a hard drive, is there an increased security risk now, for people that, keep us through Microsoft? I mean, you register for Microsoft, have access to all their stuff, you automatically get like a terabyte or two, whatever it is, for cloud storage. And it's like, oh, why do I even need to have all this hard drive space locally on my computer? I'll just use the cloud all the time. But is there an increased risk with how things are emerging in that AI space, that stuff on the cloud is maybe more at risk than if it was just stored locally on your computer?
It depends, unfortunately, on the cloud. And there are so many AI tools coming, emerging right now. If you're focused on the biggies, there are security settings, and the security put into place is quite thorough, but it's never guaranteed. Let's not forget that the cloud is some kind of a huge space with a ton of servers and a
Right.
lot of protocols put into place to secure all of that information. But it's never, ever guaranteed that it's going to be 100% secure. And we keep hearing in the industry that there are vulnerabilities here and there, right? So it's not going to be guaranteed that it's going to be completely safe. Is it safer than if you had it stored on your laptop in your house? Totally, right? Because you're not going to take as many security measures, physically or otherwise, that the cloud would. But the risk is unfortunately never eliminated. Okay. And oh my goodness, this is a whole different topic. We could spend an hour talking about security. This is such a ginormous industry. It is worth billions of dollars worldwide, and it's not going away. And the bad guys, shall we say, are always going to be ahead of the rest of the industry. So the security part of our business is growing and growing, and it's I don't see an end to it, because again, we're just trying to keep up with what the bad guys are doing, with all of the vulnerabilities out there that are being focused on, be it on the cloud, be it physical, be it through licensing. So not to scare everybody out there, because of course a lot is being done, but the vulnerabilities are still being found in the cracks, shall we say.
Yeah. I think for us, the biggest threat is me clicking. And it does. Remember, one of the examples is I don't know much about technology. I'm always pushing a bunch of buttons and all of our photos downloaded onto the kids' iPads.
Love it.
Remember? And
Love it.
5,000 photos and, some more personal photos that we did, and I was like, holy man, now our children have 5,000 photos on their iPads.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. It was quickly, I was discovered, but the biggest threat for us is me. People who don't know what they're doing and want to do these things on their own. They think they have enough knowledge, but honestly, we do need companies and people like yourself to help us, especially with this ever-changing, fast-moving
That's right.
industry.
So you are so correct. The biggest threat, 100%, if you research this, you will find the biggest threat is human behavior.
Yeah.
So one of the things that companies like ours do is we continue talking about training. And I have to tell you, I have not come across one individual yet who has gone, yeah, more security training. This is fantastic. Everybody's sick of it.
Yeah.
However, we continuously need to do it in order to shift our way of thinking. And unfortunately, what we're training is caution. So anytime you see something, you put it through a filter of, is this potentially a phishing attempt? Is this real? I know it's written like my boss's email, but this request, why is it coming via email, and why is there a link for me to click? You know, this kind of thinking, because truly you can put together the best security available in the world. And all that it takes is one person to click on something that they shouldn't.
Yeah.
Or to use the same password that they use on their iCloud account and, you know, your business account, and boom, here we are.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. We are the biggest risk.
That's it's such a paradox, right? Like, how do we keep human connection and the human element with all this, you know, mass growing technology, security, artificial intelligence, when we continue to come back that, oh yeah, humans are the biggest threat to our own security, right?
Wow, what a concept. Nice summary. I love that. Yeah,
Right?
It's true. The beauty of being human.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, is that I think in the context of this conversation, it's about trying to identify like perfection in, you know, the cybersecurity, where part of the gift, I guess you can say, in a way, of being a human is that we are fallible, right?
Yeah.
Like we make mistakes. And so, but without mistakes, we wouldn't have the opportunity to keep learning.
That's right.
So if we lived in a world of perfection, I guess we'd also live in a world where there was no need to learn anything new.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we touched a little bit earlier in our conversation about used to coach or train people on business and balance, mindfulness in the workplace. What do you do to improve focus, reduce stress, and stay present in the company and in your work? With all the IT.
As I answer this, anybody who knows me at work and in my personal life will laugh at my answer because they will not believe me, just so you know, because I used to teach this. And I definitely have a bag of tools that I do use on an ongoing basis. But if you ask anybody, I am the person who will go from meeting to meeting to meeting to meeting. And everybody asks, like, how can you keep up this kind of a schedule? And it's my own version of insanity, I suppose. But what I do is I have a way through mindfulness training. I have a way of, when I'm done work, I am done work. When I am done a particular meeting, I will take my notes and my to-dos that I need to do out of that. And I am able to leave that alone because I have a system in place where I will follow up on all of those items and create enough space for myself to follow up with all of my activities without internally carrying it. And I create, and if not on a daily basis, which is sometimes hard to do, but I do create throughout the week times where I can detach from either the busyness of the work or the thought patterns from work, and also personal stuff, right? There are personal things that are stressful with regards to family, with regards to day-to-day living, with politics and so forth. And just to become present. And this may sound a little bit cheesy, but the tools are not that hard. And I think you've heard of them. They've been spoken of quite a bit. You can literally take anything, whether it is a pet, whether it is being in your backyard with nature, whether it is going to the mountains and truly being present in that moment with that realness of what you're doing. And you can do that with human connections, and train your mind to be directly present in that moment. And it doesn't take very long for you to ground yourself away from all of the stress that you are carrying. And it puts all the situations that do cause you stress into perspective. I mean, there's Edgar Tolle, I think, speaks about this, that there is no past and there is no future. There's really the present moment. And what always creates stress in us, always, is the fear of the future or the emotions that we carry, unresolved emotions around the past. But if we are present in the moment, that is the purity of our human potential, because anything is possible in that moment. And when you touch into that, it's very beautiful. It's very freeing. And so in my personal life, I literally go from busy, multitasking, as many meetings as possible, boom, present. And for whatever reason that works for me. I don't suggest it for everybody. It is my level of insanity, but those are the tools that I use to stay present, to be mindful, and not to lose my mind.
Yeah, I think that's great because, those mindfulness techniques, presencing yourself, they're not very much like a direct contributor to results, to performance, right? It's very kind of like intangible. And so when we live in a world where, performance is measured by keystrokes or, things like that, it's like, oh, I'm going to step away. I have a hard time with that.
He does, yes.
Right. So I'm speaking from my own experiences to step away when I feel like I need to be performing even more because, we've got whatever it is on the go, right? More reports to put out, proposals, right? We're researching things. It's like to process that, walking away, connecting with your loved ones, connecting with nature, doing things that are almost like anti-productivity will actually increase your ability to get results and be productive. It's a hard thing.
I think it also fosters creativity, right? Because we get
1000%.
stuck in a task sometimes, like that's your thing. It's like you get stuck and you're like, no, I need to get this done, and then you sit and nothing is coming. There's always something coming, but not necessarily the thing that you want, because
the brake is being pressed a little bit harder at the same time as the gas during those times.
Yeah. So having that awareness, saying, hey, this is not going anywhere. It's like having in communication, when you're having those conversations and you feel yourselves on that loop, that hamster loop, and you're not going anywhere with it. That's when you need to recognize it's time for a pause and then walk away, get clarity, get grounded, and then come back with a fresh set of, whatever. So, yeah.
I have, I love speaking in analogies, and if you don't mind me sharing one with you, you mentioned you have kids, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So whether you have kids or you don't have kids and you're listening to this, I'm sure you have seen this situation at some point in time where there's a small child crying and having a tantrum. And as an adult, what we typically do is we get to their eye level, right? And what do? We ask them to breathe. We ask them to take a few breaths so that they can speak, right? Because they're hyperventilating. So we need them to breathe. And once they do, we ask, what's wrong? What's going on? And then they have enough clarity to tell you what's wrong. And then we can talk about a solution. To a large degree, this is us. This is our psyche. When we get really busy, things are going. We're not breathing. We're going from one thing to another. And a situation might seem impossible. We might not even see something right in front of us. But when we force ourselves to I don't care where you go, sit in a bathroom stall, okay? And take 2 minutes and just take deep breaths and just be present with yourself. Just count your breathing. That's all you need to do. Emotionally, you settle into a different place. There is a calmness, and I guarantee you that there is some form of clarity. I'm not going to say you're going to have a solution, but there is going to be more of a clarity. So we are not that much more complicated than that toddler having a fit. But we don't give ourselves the space because we're too adult and too mature to walk away and breathe deeply for a few minutes in order to come back to ourselves. And we forget that.
And we're surrounded by a lot of technology that even if we're, overwhelmed, stressed out with, something related to business, we have a tendency to, okay, I need to disconnect from this. But then you end up connecting with social media, right? And, or Netflix or whatever it is. And then you're not engaging in the work thing that's stressing you out, but you're not actually being present to what's going on, right?
Yeah, you're
inside
escaping.
of you. That's right.
You're escaping.
So I think that's a key distinction there, is that when we talk about presencing, it's not doing things that distract you from whatever it is you're feeling.
Yeah.
Going out, Bella's big on this, going out for a walk in nature or for a hike.
Yes.
And it does make a big difference.
100%. Yeah. If you ever see me taking my dog for a walk and I'm staring at a tree branch, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Looking at an icicle or something.
Yeah. I actually touched the tree the other day. We're walking with the kids, and one of my girls is like, "What are you doing, mommy?" "I'm connecting with nature, child," I said.
Yeah.
Or stressful situation, I need to connect with something that's grounded and solid and calm, because I'm not. So,
Yes. And same goes with human connection. And it doesn't have to be this, deep moments or anything like that. I recall, this is years ago, but I was in traffic and I was like stressing about something, and I was at the lights and a woman crossed the street, and for whatever reason, she looked at me and I smiled at her. And she paused. She literally paused and she smiled. And you could see on her face, she just needed a smile. Yeah. And her reaction completely changed my state of being. It was this really quick connection, but it was present. It was real. Yeah. And it cut through all of the other stuff that I was going through. So again, presence doesn't have to be a complex Zen moment on the top of a mountain. As long as you're aware of it and you're searching for those moments throughout the day, you can find mindfulness many times.
Yeah. And it's to your point about somebody smiling. It's like when I'm in a higher vibrational state, when I'm feeling the abundance, when I'm feeling present, I notice a lot more people make eye contact and they smile. And they walk up to me and start conversations, just random, in the lineup for Starbucks, in the line, they are more inclined, because we are all energy, and what you emit is what you're going to get. So when you're in low vibration and you're walking around with a scowl and whatnot, that's what you're going to attract. Everything's going to annoy you, the amount of people in the mall or whatever, especially now during, holiday seasons are upon us. Not only the stress levels at work because it's end of year, now stress levels because it's the holidays, Christmas is coming, the extra shopping, and all the parties and everything else. It's just taking that step back and being present to, okay, this is the time of year where I need to take a little bit more time to do the breathing, to be more mindful, to be present, to take that extra 10-minute walk versus constantly sitting in the office and hammering things out to no avail because deadlines, right? So, yeah. So what made you get into this whole space? You went from mindfulness and teaching all that stuff to now IT, communication, all that.
Which is like the opposite. It's like the
Yeah.
opposite. It's the polar opposite.
Polar, yes.
Honestly, this is such a vulnerable answer. Money.
Okay.
And the reason being is I actually my company that was called Mind Intermission. It was doing quite well, but the economy took a turn, and all of my contracts, all of them canceled. So um, tying us back to our conversation about intentions of organizations or where they put their focus, as the industry was taking a hit, all of the organizations cut their HR budgets.
Mm-hmm.
And I was left with no work. And so I went back into the industry, and I was always interested in IT because, in a weird way, IT does connect us. So, and sales is a place where you make connections with other human beings. And as you can see, I'm a bit of an outgoing person, so it was just a big alignment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, like, thank you for that honesty, because a lot of people do make choices based on what they need to provide, right?
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully you're loving it and still finding space to do the work that you've been doing that gave you, that sense of joy and purpose, right? Because they are completely different. It's like you said,
Mm-hmm.
going from mindfulness, bringing all that into that space, to now pushing the IT and the sales, which some may say is opposite of that.
Yeah, I think on the surface you can very much look at, you're in the mindfulness, that is human connection. IT is, you're an introvert and you don't like people, so you get into IT, right?
Totally. And that would be the case if I was a technician in the background working on your systems. But my role and my team's role is literally to understand the businesses and the people and how you work and what we do to make you function and to make you better.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a very social part of our work. Without knowing that, how can we fulfill that background stuff to actually make you function properly? So it is a very social exchange. And I'm loving my role. I love Accurate, and I love my team and all of the interaction that we have. And every day there are challenges. And there are other challenges with solutions or with client issues that they have with regards to their business, overall business. How do we solve that? And coaching individuals with regards to their careers. It's a fascinating industry, and I'm very happy I'm here. If I had a choice where somebody would come and say, "Look, I have all of these contracts for Mind Intermission for you," I would be very torn because I loved that part of my business, but I also love what I do now. So I find myself very lucky.
Yeah, that's awesome. So now the question I'm going to pose to you: what is one tool or app you absolutely can't live without?
Oh my gosh, you with your hard question. Oh, this is going to be so boring for you. I'm sorry, but Teams, Microsoft Teams. And it is because there are so many conversations, so many strategies that can happen through that one tool and sharing of information. I can have 5 conversations going about different topics at any given time, and I'm moving things forward. And if somebody needs me immediately, I can make adjustments to my day and be talking about present for them. So without Teams, life would be really, really different and more difficult. So as far as IT goes,
Teams.
happy about Teams.
Okay, Teams it is.
Do you have one?
For you, would be Duolingo, I think.
Yeah, that's my favorite app for languages. Buongiorno, mi amore. Italian's on the docket. That's why the Ponglish is getting worse, because now I'm mixing 4 languages instead of just the 2. But I do rely on, like right now for an app, this is your favorite way of say, well, everybody thinks it's the fine. I cannot say cup cat. It's like it's a
CapCut.
Cup cat. Yeah. So anyways, it's a real editing tool that has saved me hours of editing in other apps. So CapCut.
Fantastic.
No.
Yeah, you're
CapCut.
never gonna get it.
It's like everybody makes fun of me
Yeah.
because I can't say it.
Yeah, she speaks perfectly, but then when she has to say the word CapCut, it's all like she could say cap and cut separately in different contexts, but together you're Polish.
It's
comes
a
out.
no-go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the Polishness.
It
It's
is the Polish
That's right.
My kids, only about 3 years ago that I find out, my kids finally told me, Mom, it's not Disney, it's Disney.
No.
And I'm like, what? I'm like, no, you're messing with me. You're messing with me. I don't believe you. And they're like, Mom, no. And I found out through others I was saying it wrong this entire time. But you hear it differently,
Yeah.
right? You totally hear it differently. No, I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the Polishness.
Yeah.
Well,
It is totally.
for me. It would be FaceTime.
FaceTime.
Yeah.
Well, because we travel quite a bit, and there's some of that travel that I do on my own, away from my wife and children, and so that's how we stay connected when I'm away. And when I think about not having that ability, I mean, I remember when Skype first came out.
Oh,
we were able to video conference for the very first time, right? That was a game changer. But yeah, FaceTime.
Yeah.
It would be hard without that.
It definitely would, you know. So that's how we stay connected with technology. That's the humanness that connects us within technology.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I love that.
yeah. And then one last question. What is one tech myth you wish everyone would stop believing?
Oh, man, I kind of wish that you asked me this ahead of time so that I could have really thought about this. The technology. Okay, I got it. This is a personal annoyance of mine. And it is that, again, not a lot, but there are enough of our clients who believe that they need to have certain security measures in place just to look like they're secure and to get security insurance. But it's never actually going to happen to them because it doesn't happen to small businesses. So especially executives are like, yeah, everybody else has to do this, but we're not going to do this. So we're not going to do the training. We're not going to put multi-factor authentication on because this isn't going to happen
annoying.
to us.
It can be
It's annoying. I'm too busy. This is not for us. And of course, executives are definitely the focal point for most phishing attempts. And I so wish that organizations and individuals, executives would get this, that this is not just a fad. It is literally a requirement in today's business. However, the other side of it, as far as a managed services provider, it keeps us very busy. Because the more vulnerabilities there are, the more work we have. So it's a bit of a catch-22.
Yeah. No, I do. Those two-way authentication things are bloody annoying. But I know we need them.
They're not annoying when they work well. They're
Exactly.
annoying when they don't work well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I left my phone at home. And yet
Yes.
it's almost impossible for me to log into anything on my laptop without my phone sometimes, depending on.
And then even being able to change your email, because like sometimes we change our emails to authenticate or our phone numbers, but you can't go back because now you forgot that you had this two-way authentication with this phone number. You change your phone number and now you can't authenticate it because it's going to the old number. You know? But
That's happened.
That has happened.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's why I don't show eBay anymore because they refuse to change my phone number. So Amazon it is.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So Okay, so where can people find you?
Well, they can find me at accuraternetworks.ca. They can find me on LinkedIn under Dorota Ulkowska. And if you Google Dorota Ulkowska, I have quite the social presence because of Mind Intermission. So a lot of YouTube videos out there with regards to mindfulness training. But yes, please visit accuraternetworks.ca to find me and our services. And if you want to have a
Awesome.
conversation about mindfulness, message me too.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, thank you so much for the conversation
Yes.
and coming on. Yeah, until next time.
Until next time.
Thank you so much. Have a lovely day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode and gained valuable insights to elevate your life and business.
If you found value in our conversation, spread the love. Share this episode with family and friends, and let's grow this supportive community together.
And don't forget to like and follow us so we can reach more amazing people just like you.
Until next time, remember, let's not sugarcoat it. Keep it real, raw, and unfiltered.